literally. Good. So first of all, also Happy New Year to everyone. It's going to be a very intense and hopefully constructive and rewarding year. Very interesting year, definitely for EURAXESS. I think this project is going to require a lot of close cooperation between among the BHOs, between the Commission, with the service centers, etc. A lot of thinking, a lot of novelties. I think that's quite interesting. And I also think this year, and if you're looking at the geopolitical context, I do expect that the topic of research careers is going to remain very, very topical, not only for the ERA Act, but just for anything that has to do with the topic of attracting, integrating, supporting talents, research talent. This year is also the year when we are entering into a new contract, IT contract. So as you know, Vera does a lot of things, but there's also an IT team behind, IT developers. You have met them on a couple of occasions, and this is usually a collaboration between 2 years and 4 years. The current collaboration is ending end of this month, and this is a procurement process. And I think you're all very familiar with procurement processes, the unpredictability of these things. But first of all, what I think is quite important is that there's going to be a strong new contract for the IT services, very much focusing on EURATOWN platform initiatives, right? And EURAXESS being definitely the biggest, the initiative that consumes the most of IT resources, given also the complexity and the size. So we are currently in the process of, we will soon enter into the new contract. And basically in the next monthly meeting, hopefully we'll be able to inform you more about this. Unfortunately, as it is often the case, depending on how the paperwork will advance, there might be a gap in time during which some of the urgent developments will be put on hold. This might be in the month of February. It all depends. We're trying to limit this gap as much as possible, but we also have to be a bit realistic. Normally, you might not notice a lot about it. The platforms will continue functioning as usual. We will not be launching the new main features anyhow, and anyhow, there's nothing in the pipeline, I would say, either. But in case there is some support needed, then there might be a delay in how fast this is being answered. I do see a question from George. Will also technical issues, for example, the issue with documents on the platform yesterday, also be able to be repaired during this break, or is there a fallback? Well, we will be looking at the things that must be done will be done, and the things that are important but less urgent, those we will have to see on which case how we will do this. We are dealing with much less resources during this gap period, and so this will very much depend on what comes in terms of requests, and if everything is running smoothly. And there are some issues, then we will look into it. If we are experiencing much more issues than we usually do, then we will have to make a selection based on how what the impact is on the users. Of course, anti-security related always receives a priority, and then we'll be looking at how time sensitive it is, how complex is it, and what is the impact on the users. But I think it's important for you to know that we are entering into this gap, and then after this gap, we should be then with a new partner, could be the same, could be new, we will enter into a cooperation for the next 3 years. And regarding this, I would say there are not many novelties. In the sense that not many major things. We had a revamp of the digital side, which was extremely intensive in terms of IT resources. And I would say now we are entering into a phase where we will continue to improve everything that is on EURAXESS. Still make some important changes, but I would say it's not a moment where we will take distance from everything and kind of rebuild it from scratch. This has been done in 2024, mid-2024, and now we're entering to a phase of continuous improvements. So that's on the IT side. If there are any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. And
yes, Mireia, this is something I mentioned at the very start of the meeting. So this has been opened now. So the performance assessment tool end-year review has been opened, and it will remain open until the 27th of February.
Then I guess if there are no more questions regarding the IT side, I think we can continue with the agenda of the day.
Yes, so we hand over to Elisa. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for the updates. Hello to everyone.
We are not able to hear you.
No? Oops. Let's see.
Yes, we can.
We can.
Yes.
Yeah, you can?
It's us. It could be us. It could be us. I think it was from our side.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, great. So basically, thank you. Well, I would say that thank you for the updates and thank you for giving me the space, giving us the space in this agenda. Well, me and the team, and here is Sabi also with me, and obviously Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you're ready for next months. We have already seen most of us last week regarding the project preparation, and I will say again thank you to the Commission for giving us this space in the agenda, because there were, although we have a very intense and very successful conversations during the last BHO meeting in Brussels regarding what is actually the topics covered by EURAXESS, regarding the new operational model to be that is key part of the new project, but also it's not just the project, it's also it's also for the whole EURAXESS operational way of doing things. So this is why I was discussing in the BHO. But unfortunately, even though we were very quickly doing this, the 2 hours worth of the last our dedicated session in the BHO meeting, we unfortunately didn't cover everything, and there were especially two big topics that needs to be tackled in order to not so much the preparation of the project, I would say, because this is totally independent, because we could actually move forward without this, but nevertheless would make things much easier if we already know these two issues. I will not say topics to not make confuse people, but it's to these topics, to agree among all on the BHOs what is actually one of the topics and the clusters of the operational model. So if I may, I will share a presentation. It's not for me to talk much. It's just to make sure everybody understand what I'm talking about. And of course, if you have any questions, please open your mic and ask them. not going to repeat again what we have repeated in Brussels, just to briefly refresh your memories from this long period of vacations. We agree in Brussels that these are the topics that EURAXESS cover, basically using the journey of a researcher when coming from abroad, and also regarding his or her career development needs. And obviously from this journey, it derives a lot of activities that EURAXESS, BHOs, EURAXESS service centers mainly can do in order to provide services that tackle these needs from these researchers. These are our main users. But having said that, we also acknowledge that institutions are also in need to know how to support this journey and how to support this career development. Obviously, many of these institutions are EURAXESS members, so they are included already in the network, but it was an open discussion that in many occasions, many of the tools and many of the activities we do, they could be also open to other institutions because they will benefit also from this. Although, yeah, and also it's a very, very good way to promote EURAXESS among these institutions. We agree that job searching and talent attraction, I will not read all, I will only focus on maybe the new ones. Research security came there as a topic that it's related to EURAXESS activities, of course. So it's new, and there were a lot of interest on this from many of the BHOs. So here it is in the list. Core mobility aspect, it means all the aspects related to entry conditions, working permits, taxes, and so on. Okay, this is what we have labeled as core mobility aspects. Okay, for more than they can sound new ones. There were also, we were discussing the topics related to research managers and science for policy very briefly, and we agree how EURAXESS, there was also a discussion on how EURAXESS tackle entrepreneurship and innovation, and it was also agreed that it's related to career support. But there were one topic that we didn't have time to discuss, if supporting implementation of HR Excellence in Research Award is a topic covered by EURAXESS. Okay, that's the first thing that we should tackle. And then a second part, we would like to discuss, once we have the topics that are covered by EURAXESS, then we clusterize. Basically, we make cluster. That is the key, the concept, the new concept of the new operational model. You know, this is how these topics are going to be structured and coordinated and aligned and given visibility and promoted the activities of EURAXESS. So we decided that there was a cluster one called talent circulation. Maybe the labels can change. We haven't decided yet. They don't need to decide the names now, but it covers all these topics. Then there is another cluster that it was called careers in academia. That tackles the career progression and the career support in academia. There was another cluster called career beyond academia that it tackles career transition and career support in entrepreneurship. And then there was these two topics, refugees for researchers, that we agree that is a topic of EURAXESS, so EURAXESS covered these topics, and diversity and inclusion, because we also cover this topic. We do activities regarding diversity and inclusion in terms when we provide the services of EURAXESS. But what we acknowledge there that these topics actually are cross-cutting. So they are transversal to all other three clusters. So you can think of, for example, diversity and inclusion, and then you can always have the perspective of gender, for example, or other aspects of inclusion when we talk about integration of researchers into the institutions, or when we think of, for example, of career progression. These are very obvious ones. And the same for refugee researchers. So obviously refugee researchers have particularities, especially in the core mobility aspects, but it's also covered there. You also have integration of review resources with particularities, but it's also integration, the same for career progression and so on, and obviously for career transition. So the question is here to talk about, is these topics are definitely are topics of EURAXESS that we already discussed that in the BHO meeting, so there's no need to discuss that. It's actually if there are clusters or not. So if you want, just to structure the conversation, we're going to start with this one. So first, deciding or discussing is the supporting of the HR excellence in research award a topic to be covered by EURAXESS? And just to inspire the conversation, I would say that we would need to think about what is our role as BHOs and what is the roles of the service centers there, of the institutions that are part of the networks. What also have been our activities and our responsibilities regarding to these HRS regarding the support of the charter and the implementation of the charter. What is our capacity to? What is our competences? And what is our support? Because if we don't have support, we're not going to go very far. So if anyone has comments regarding to this, I don't want to start with my opinion because then that will basically influence. I don't want to influence the conversation. So.
Thanks a lot, Elisa. And maybe I will just say one thing, and actually I also keep my opinion for myself, because I also would like to hear from what do BHOs think. But just also to flag that there's a reason why we have also invited Michele Rosoclot with us. So in this call, we have Michele, who is with us. He's unfortunately sick, but still he didn't want to miss on this meeting. So it's also good to hear his opinion. What he thinks, but again, let's perhaps listen to what the BHOs have to say, and then we will give some thoughts how we look at it. But again, this is very much open for discussion and co-creation.
Let's see if anyone. No one has any opinion on this.
I did.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, can't see that. Okay, Siri. So,
hello, everybody. So nice to see you again on the screen. Many of you again, and to those who we didn't meet this year, have a nice year ahead of you. I have a pretty clear picture about my role as a BHO in this regard. My role is to inform and promote and support the clients who want to apply for it, to support them up to the level of my knowledge and capacity, and if it exceeds my knowledge and capacity, then to signpost them to the relevant place. Very straightforward and clear.
okay, thank you, Siri. I can see also Monica. Monica, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, similarly to Siri. However, I believe this topic has the same rules as other EURAXESS topics, so it depends on the country. In our country, yes, it is under EURAXESS umbrella. We do, I think, quite a lot for our institutions to obtain and sustain the logo, the award, and we organize meetings, provide training sometimes, and have a Google discussion group for everyday communication. However, I feel that in the past it was more, the topic of HR excellence was more related to EURAXESS, even from top down, I would say. And we had the trainings. It was a long time ago, really many years ago. If you remember, we had the training provided from the even EC. We had the discussion groups, the training, the meetings, etc. And now I feel it is more detached even at this level. And the last thing is that So if we want to have more knowledge about HR excellence, we simply participate in the general HR information days. So what I would see is more training for EURAXESS centers on this topic. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Monica. There's a lot of people also with their hands raised. I don't know who was first or who was good, so apologies if I basically jump anyone here on the list. So Adam, you also have your hands raised.
Yes, thank you, and hello everyone. Another example that I can offer for Hungary, and it's a practical perspective, what we actually do. Yes, we include this area as our service area, offered to institutions, basically, primarily EURAXESS, but not just EURAXESS, institutions and institution in Hungary interested in the topic. And there is demand for this, we see. And the primary reason for us offering this is because we as BHO have first-hand experience in this topic. Unlike some more specialized topics, even though they might be part of EURAXESS for a longer period of time, like taxation or whatever, in which we are not authorities, we don't have first-hand experience, we can signpost, we can offer some basic advice, but HR excellence is not like that. We are involved and we can offer quite high-level expert advice in that. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Adam. Then we have also Susanna Maslova.
Hi, hello, greetings from Prague. We have a very similar experience in the HR excellence in the Czech Republic. We have the network here of the awarded institutions and also of the institutions which plan to apply for HR Excellence Award. And we have the meetings twice per year or 3 times per year on the topic of sharing of experience and best practice in this field. And what would be the best support for us, or what I miss from my point of view, I miss something like to be contact point from the European Commission, like the first stop where when something new is happening, then I would be very happy to have the information as a first, because sometimes only the administrators of HR excellence in the research of the institutions get the information, some updates, etc. And I'm not the administrator for our organization, so I don't get this information. So that would be from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Susanna. We have also Lil.
Yeah, hello from Vienna. So I would say I would much echo what Siri has said about Estonia. So we see our role, or we do a lot of work in informing organizations about the existence of the award. We also did in the past some, how to put it, we offered a space for HR managers from institutions to discuss this, and from some institutions what experiences they had, so to kind of like help them think of applying or not, if that's reasonable for them, etc. And so that's something we I think have the capacity to do. I wouldn't say that we would have the core competence as I don't really see the core competence, because we are not HR managers. We are not career service centers in the sense as an institution would put it. So I think we can facilitate a lot, and there is also a high potential for that. And having that said, it would also be interesting then to hear what Michaela will say, and what the plans of the Commission are about like the whole support structure of the HR award, with all the different formats, also to have a peer exchange between those assessors who are experts in their fields and so on. I think this is like something to explore. Yeah.
Thank you, Lil. Then Ilva I think you were next.
Yes, thank you. But Lil already perfectly wrapped it up, our joint experience. So again, plea to keep that on the radar and really interested in seeing what's coming up from the Commission. But I also felt it really helped us. Maybe also to add, we got this institutional perspective from that. We got another level of insight, and there may be interesting things because some institutions in Austria, it's not a huge wave, but some important, quite a number of institutions did, but some of them dropped out again. And these are also things we might hear more about. So I think it would be a pity, thinking also of the new charter and code and everything that has moved, that we suddenly sever ties. So I think we should be kept in the loop. And yes, otherwise I subscribe to everything that has been said. And I think it would be good to have it as a continued activity of EURAXESS.
Thank you. Thank you, Ilva. Svetlana, you also have your hand risen.
Yes, the colleagues said more or less everything that could be said on this topic, whether we are in or out. I just wanted to add a personal example for Bulgaria. If it was not EURAXESS, the number of organizations wouldn't move, because we at pre-chat team initiated discussion at the ministry on this, and created together with the Commission regional workshop, and the things were boosted because it was a case, it is described as a case. So my role was crucial in the past. Nowadays, I agree with the colleagues that the process started, more organization joined, and etc. We are rather information providing, advice, and connection with other colleagues. And I also would like to see what how Michele sees EURAXESS in this regard, and what the Commission thinks in general.
Thank you, Svetlana. And then I think it's the last recent hand is from Alienor, but there is also some comments on the chat that I will go now into them. So then, Alienor, the floor is yours.
Okay. In the end, I didn't want to be redundant because I already put something. Happy New Year to everyone. Yes, what I think is that it will be complementary maybe in the end. So really having some offers available online that we could also refer to. So in the end, coordinators should do their bit if possible at local level, and of course, at national level. Luxembourg is so small that it's more or less local level, but we know the people we can turn to, where to promote to, we can organize national events, but having something that is complementary to this and that could somehow, fuel the interest, spark it, keep it alive in the label and throughout the year. I mean, that would be quite helpful, because these events that we could organize, this is something punctual. And if someone is interested in the meantime, so we could already refer to something. So I think it would be really helpful, also taken into consideration that maybe not all BHOs are so well staffed, and that you do not have maybe one person who's then the expert and can always attend someone who's interested. So let's say going both ways and having this approach would be great, and tying the topic of HRS 4R closer to EURAXESS by this means. So
Thank you, Alienor. And then I think the last comment from another country is Carla from Slovakia. Carla, I don't know if you can open your mic and explain yourself what you mean in the chat, or if you cannot, I can read it, whatever you prefer.
Basically, I just didn't want to take much time from the discussion, but yeah, I'm definitely in Slovakia. We are part of the process, not directly, as we are not an organization that employs researchers, but still we organize capacity building activities to share among the members. Basically, there are no other stakeholders dealing with researchers' careers in Slovakia like we are doing. So basically, this is a unique space for us, and even those topics that were addressed at the conference, this is the unique opportunity to align them with the HR excellence in research process. So definitely it would be very crucial for us to stay in touch with the HR excellence in research process as a EURAXESS network, in order to keep also our national state authorities in the loop, to be informed, because not only that we communicate with the universities or research organizations, but we also provide the feedback somehow from the field to the national ministries. So for us, it is definitely that we would appreciate to get back into the process more closely. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's if I'm correct, this is all of you. No one has the hand risen. Now we can also express the from. Oh no, Vitali, you also have your hand risen. Sorry, I haven't missed it.
Thanks, Elisa, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, in Germany, we also have a national working group on this topic, and we are very much involved in this group, and we regard the HR award process as a very important step towards the internationalization of institutions. However, to give you a short answer to your question, Elisa, so it is an important topic for EURAXESS itself, but I don't see it as a crucial part of the project.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vitali. Yeah, from the remember just for the comment, also remember that this is broader than the topic. Definitely, topic is another thing. You know, obviously funds the activities, so it is connected, but you know, it's a broader discussion on if EURAXESS, I mean, if the HRS4R is part of the of EURAXESS. So now, if I may, from Spain, what I can say is that it's more or less it's something medium. The efforts that we have done from FACIT to support the HRS4R has been huge at the very beginning of basically the implementation of the charter, and then obviously when the implementation, the HRS4R came before even was on a digital tool. We have a heavy promotion, and we were part of this. Like I said, heavy promotion. Then, in a second step, now our role, as many of you, is not so much promoting it because it promoted itself in Spain, but it's helping with the technical support regarding the platform, because it's EURAXESS, so we have the knowledge, because HRS case, there's a lot of issues on losing the HRS4R case, especially which is the EU logins and so on. So it has been very technical support. Obviously, we have in Spain, we have had, because now not so more a community of practice based for the HRS4R, but it was very regional, and FACIT was not so much involved. On the other side, there is a lot of requests from institutions in Spain, as you can imagine, because they have a lot of awards asking for exchange practices, also how to deal with the process, also how to especially we are looking for when we change from 40, what many of them will change from 40 to 20 principles in the e-tool. This is going to be interesting. And I will totally agree with many of you. Susanna has explained it very well. Unfortunately, we don't have the first-hand information to do this job, and the institutions in Spain are looking to us. And of course, if the government, the ministry move more into this area of research, talent management and so on, we will probably be one of the first to be contacted. And the case like Carla was explaining also. So for us, it's very important to know what is our role, as you can imagine, because then from our organizational perspective, we will have to arrange a lot within FACIT. So yeah, this is all from my side. Now I think Saben and Michele is the time for to hear commission. I guess everybody's looking for that.
right. Michele, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. So would you like to go first? Should I go first? Any preference?
Okay, I can go first. Sure. Thank you very much for having me. Happy New Year to everybody. Indeed, I listened carefully to all the comments, and I share most of you have used your 100%. Let me introduce my thought in saying that, of course, we are discussing as a EURAXESS BHOs the role of our support for HR excellence in research, not because it's something else that we want to adopt, but it's because it stems from the same philosophy and the same policies. At the very beginning, EURAXESS and the year after HR, the charter, at the time the charter and code, they stem from the same idea of supporting and fostering and incentivizing researchers' mobility and researchers' assistance. EURAXESS, as I mentioned, directly tackling the researchers' needs, and the HR excellence in research implementing the European Charter for Researchers to create the favorable environment for the growth and the career progression. Now, these are two different tracks, of course. There are the number of overlaps are incredible. EURAXESS is better integrated in the HR excellence in research rather than HR excellence in research into EURAXESS. But the idea that the two levels, the two planes are proceeding together must be there, and the vision must be very, very, very close to each other. However, EURAXESS is a system of supporting initiatives which has been developed through the years and already is very, very heavy, very loaded. The idea of introducing in EURAXESS the support to the implementation of the HR excellence research would be redundant and probably too heavy for EURAXESS to receive. Why? Just to give you an idea, it's important to know we are right in a topical moment. HR excellence in research is a victim of its own success in a way. Now, the number of institutions awarded is so big that even the Commission has been overloaded, and the administrative burden has been so huge that is untenable. Therefore, in 2024 already, it has been decided to externalize this part. So the administrative dimension is too big to be covered by the Commission, too big to be covered, especially by EURAXESS, and will be tackled directly by an external company. We had a procurement for that, and now late January, this company will start tackling the administrative process, freeing the Commission for all the policy burden, freeing the Commission of the administrative burden. We are finally free to develop fully in full scale the policy dimension, the growth of the networking, and so forth, so on. However, what has been said is pointing exactly to what is absolutely ideal in the interaction between HR excellence in research and EURAXESS, meaning having the BHOs responsible for local coordination and contacts, initial contact points. Why? Because one thing that we miss at the central level is the pulse, the experience, and the specificities of the local situation. Spain, Czech Republic, Romania, you name it, all member states, they have a different set of legislation. They have a very particular set of rules when it comes to institution participation to the HR excellence in research. Therefore, it becomes very important a bottom-up approach in the dissemination and in the coordination and the first line of support. But the first line of support cannot be technical. The technical line of support comes from the help desk, the centralized help desk at the Commission level. What the local EURAXESS BHOs can do, and it would be great if it could be done would be the local networking line. You spoke, the intervention that came before me spoke about a network of awarded organization, a network of organization coordinating their effort to have more clarity in how to submit their action plans, in looking at the national best practices. This would be absolutely fundamental to have. More than that, I am afraid it will overburden EURAXESS, and it will also create discrepancies and confusion on a larger scale. So, what do you think, Slaven?
Great. I mean, actually, I think that's it. So these are, I would say, two sister initiatives, often same people dealing with it, same type of institutions. And we do see that there is a slightly different depth in different countries, how far you go. But I definitely think from your access side, it's about informing the organizations. It is about definitely, and that as there is this strong emphasis on this centralized EU level support, which is also going to be provided through because of this outsourcing of a large part of activities. I think this should be the way to go. Of course, if in the national, within the national boundaries, you are asked or you have to do more, of course you always can. If it's also about creating networks, it's about supporting through the process. This is, of course, something that can be done, but this is, I would say, more on a country by country basis, not on something that we agree that this is what the entire EURAXESS network in all 43 countries has to do. This is and I think we are more or less all, most of us are definitely on the same page. And I definitely know that the request for information, so that is something definitely that we can take on board for the monthly meetings as well. That there is this stronger communication connection between the BHOs and in this case, Michele and the team that will be working on it. So you are very much informed about it. If your role, or at least this is the mandate in your country, just to provide general information, and from the moment there are questions that you send them somewhere else, that this is fine. But in case your mandate is a bit wider, then you at least receive this information directly from the HR Excellence Research Award colleagues. The questions, I think this is what Elisa wants to know, because for the project, is this a cluster on its own? I do not think it is a cluster, but I think it's definitely good to have a hook in one of the existing clusters. Thanks a lot.
Something, Slaven, it has been observed that if BHOs, if the EURAXESS network, they want information on the EURAXESS research, they can come to the Info Day. That is true. However, the Info Day and the EURAXESS BHO, the annual EURAXESS BHO, are overlapping. So this creates some difficulties for having the attendance of all EURAXESS BHOs in the EURAXESS in Research Info Day. So I would think it could be of added value and very important actually to have a dedicated EURAXESS Info Day for EURAXESS BHO. That, of course, we have to study now the feasibility and how to organize it, but I think it would be of added value.
Yeah, it makes sense for this, for the conference. And actually, indeed, Carla, also in the chat, thanks for refreshing our memory. I mean, EURAXESS rights. It was in the name. So The connections have been there from the start, but I think now we are a little bit fine-tuning on this relationship on what is done and what is not done, or at least what do we say this is the minimum level of connection we have between the two. All right, Elisa, back to you.
Okay. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you also for I think the BHOs that we are very involved. We will definitely benefit from this info day, and also especially updates through the BHO monthly meetings will be great. And of course now also Michele, you have heard many of us at the national level who were very much involved in the promotion and implementation of the HRS for us. So I think this would be great. As Slaven has said, it's not a cluster because it's not a whole thing of mandate, and in that way it will be kept. So next topic is down, like I said, these two topics, refugee process and diversity and inclusion, are topics of EURAXESS. We have already discussed this in the VHO meeting, but the question is how much they should be integrated in different clusters, because they are cross-cutting. So like I explained at the very in the introduction. So I would open the floor to anyone who wants to make comments, discussions. I could say also if you want, we can start from the refugee resources, so, and then leave it to diversity and inclusion. Sharina from the ETH Zurich. I don't know if anyone from the ETH Zurich is in the audience, because we received her feedback. She said to us that she couldn't attend it today, so she gave her opinion on diversity and inclusion. But if you want, we can start from the refugee researchers. Okay, so comments. Let's see who. Give me a minute that I change. Who has his hand up? Yeah, Svetlana, you're first.
Okay, I have a problem here with the microphone. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
But you are muted now, so we cannot hear you.
Oh, really?
Now, yes.
Muted?
Now, yes. It's coming and going. We don't know why. Now you are not. We cannot hear you. Let's try again, Svetlana, because we heard you before. If you want, Lil, you have also the hand raised even while you're sorting your technical mic problems.
I mean, it's just a comment or so, because it's I don't really see it as a cluster, but I'm saying that with the head of not being part of the hubs projects and not being so close to that, what has been done in the past. To me, I mean, it has like the difficulty is that you has, as already discussed, you have like this lineage to integration, which is a central topic, but also it's similar to diversity and inclusion is a very important thing when we go to careers in academia, beyond academia. So it's probably a bit the question how to address, or maybe to, I don't know, to seek for a way how to integrate that, to make this a part of both the talent circulation with the very, where you come to this mobility, to visa, to whatever there was is important integration, and then this the careers topic also includes that, at least. So it's not a solution, but I don't see it as a cluster. I would find it a pity not to have the topic visible in the clusters, which are now on screen. I think this is what I want to say.
Yeah, thank you, Lil. If I may, exactly, this is the same. Now, Svetlana, maybe you showed your mic problem.
Do you hear me now? Oh,
yes.
Okay. So I'm sorry for this difficulty. I have only few words to say. We built something, and it was built long time ago. So now other clusters are mostly devoted to optimizing careers. Science for Refugee cluster, if it is a cluster, would optimize safety, continuity, and institutional risk. As a function, it is unique. It is not like in other clusters. Also, those projects and also future financing for researchers at risk, like Maria Curie for Ukraine, SAFE project, Age Gaza now, they create a structurally distinct service population. There is nothing that would serve them further because big part of them will go out of the academic institutions and will have no job after that. Also, they are such that didn't have opportunity to take a position anywhere, and they also need orientation. In any case, such cluster is already operational ready and would bring value. Also, those standardized services that are offered in other clusters by contact points are not typically the same as for this audience. It is in any of those, it is different. So specialization that we offer to our colleagues is something that helps them deal every day. And of course, this is already said that other clusters address standard career and mobility pathways. This is a forced mobility, and it is not standard at all. So we have existing structure, we have knowledge, we have tools. So if we spread it among other clusters, I am not sure whether it will exist the same working way. So this is it from me.
Okay, thanks, Svetlana. Anyone wants to make a comment? Ilva, I can see your hand risen.
Yes, thank you. I think I wasn't first, but I'm happy to comment because I very much understand. So Svetlana, what you said, this is way beyond standard. This is something specific. But again, also I've not been close to this topic so much, but my take on this would be it could become still even stronger if it is really integral part. And I would also not seeing spreading it across clusters. My first take would really be to put it into or integrate it with all its specificities in the cluster one, talent circulation. Maybe we could even think of calling it talent circulation and integration or something like that, or even target circulation and inclusion, because I think in similar ways also for diversity and inclusion, this is such a fundamental aspect which needs to go across, as we heard before, to cluster two. It is applicable for careers in academia and beyond, and for those who for many reasons go out of the system and apply their knowledge somewhere else. So I think if we take cluster one as a big entry point in a way where we really have, in ways, things that really relate to talent circulation in all aspects, my take would be to integrate these very specific aspects there. And my hope would be that it is actually even stronger and more visible than if you have it in one separate package, because such a separate package, it's not always means, in my view, that it's better integrated or more visible. But that's just my opinion. I would vote for such a, or I could imagine such an approach.
Thank you, Ilva. Now let's see what Siri, you also have your hand up, so. I cannot hear you. I don't know if you're talking.
I'm so sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now yes.
Yeah, I did talk. Sorry. So I'm just reflecting on exactly what Ilva was saying. That well, I also see it like it's important, I think, for all the clusters to really to strongly integrate it. And just the one question mark about indeed, if we would put it still like specifically under one cluster, the number one, then it goes against what I think that how I understood what Svetlana mentioned, that it seems to me that there has been this goal to support the researchers' mobility between sectors within EURAXESS support services. So so then this would be the careers beyond academia cluster. So you know, it's a bit tricky, but maybe it would be reasonable to have it under the circulation, and then maybe if it's under this general cluster, then we can, you know, use the very tight connection to the topical clusters. Yeah, maybe that's reasonable idea, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Heard. Anyone wants to make any or more comments on this? At the moment, is basically Svetlana. It is true that it's been a hub already on that. So there's been like kind of putting all together these services and activities specific for a certain target user. So a subgroup of the main target user researchers. This is the refugees. There are researchers also, but because of their specificity, they are being tackled specifically from a hub. So there's been already some structure there from previous projects, but then on the other side we see that yeah, it could be benefit more to spread it into different clusters, because somehow it will be more connected with the activities on the other clusters, and also bring this perspective for refugees to these clusters, which is extremely important, so they will not be isolated. This is the two sides. Let's see some people making more comments. Yeah, some people have to leave, so yeah, I don't know, Slaven, if you want to make any comments or
So first of all, for Commission, so we can stay a bit longer, just saying that if I think it's important to have this discussion and to perhaps close this discussion. On the topic itself, and also what I mentioned during the BHO meeting, and also it's unfortunate, but this topic seems to be is growing in importance, and be it Ukraine, be it the 2016-17 Middle East crisis, be it Gaza, whatever, we see that things are happening which we rather not see happening, but they do happen. And then the question is, how do you support these researchers? And it has become a very automatic thing to say, this is clearly what EURAXESS is doing really good. So, EURA for Ukraine, which is EURAXESS. Was done in 2 weeks. And also now we have internal discussions on how can we support researchers coming from a region that is affected. I am always, promoting EURAXESS, and on this front, it is, I would say, relatively easy because there isn't, unfortunately, so many other initiatives that are existing for so long. You can really put them on one hand. There are some projects, but they come, they start, and they finish. So I think EURAXESS has been now quite a long-term and structural player in this domain. Of course, the question is not what importance of this. It is important. I think the discussion that you are having here is very valid. Is what is the best way to integrate it into this structure. I personally make a distinction between if you're a cluster on what your role is, and because even if you're looking here, if we say you have to be everywhere, it's almost as we assume that these clusters are going to be silos, right? And I think then we already know what's going to be the problem. is that we cannot have silos between the clusters. And you can have things which are much more horizontal, but you're always going to have them. You need somewhere the center of it. And I would say, for example, for commission side, we have gender, we have a gender sector, but they are involved in so many different things horizontally, but they are somewhere in a vertical structure. And actually, I think whatever thing that you take there of these sub boxes, these are things which you also have contact with other boxes and with other clusters. So you will always have this interconnectiveness between the different parts, and we should. So I do not have a strong preference where it should be. As I just want to highlight the importance of it, and I just want to highlight that being it a cluster or being it a horizontal, eventually I don't think it will matter so much, because eventually after you have passed the structuring phase, you will have to look at what are the processes, how are these things connected, and this is where, if the job is well done, it will not really, I would say, matter so much. So that's a bit of my brief opinion on this.
Yeah, I will also bring one thing very important. It's I think it's a topic that has been dealt, but we really need to think, especially, and now this is related to the project actually, it's that it needs somehow a critical mass. And there's been already a structure there. And we really need to think about if it's enough of EURAXESS service centers. And here I'm not talking only about VHOs, I'm talking about EURAXESS service centers. And also, obviously also VHOs who are involved in this type of services. Because if we need to think also on this regard, because then otherwise we will create a cluster that is super specialized and only a few EURAXESS service centers are dealing with it for the whole services for the network. It's another type of model. Instead of and maybe the structure of integrating this topic into the other clusters would benefit more for the model of, okay, let's try to many EURAXESS service centers are including this refugee resources topic, which I'm not sure which is the best way of approaching this. Regarding this, for example, the inclusion and diversity topic, it would be rather to go this direction, not to be in a cluster, but just to be integrated. So pushing that all topics into the clusters really were for diversity and inclusion. I think from Iceland, they made a very good point. Miriam from Iceland made a very good point on this regard. It's let's not forget that inclusion, diversity is something that's important for all people. And this is actually also regarding this topic. Serena has made this from the ETH Zurich has made this remark also, that for them it would be more, they see this topic more integrated into the other clusters, so they can work more to somehow, but also they see us for visibility, and this is what is important, I think, to integrate in other clusters. They think in this way diversity and inclusion will have more visibility, or to really ensure that there is visibility, that when we cover aspects of integration, cover aspects of career progression in academia, we are taking into consideration with diversity and inclusion. They and whatever VHOs or EURAXESS certain participating in the next activities in these clusters somehow will benefit from this perspective. Now, is it the same for the refugees and researchers? Like I said, if we go for the model of just clusterizing itself, it's kind of like just a few EURAXESS service centers are providing services to the rest of Europe. And this is the model that we want to go there. If there is capacity for that, or we go more for basically try to bring this topic, these refugees for researchers, this specialization of the actually usual topics, like we already named in integration, career support, but with the lenses to deal with refugee, that is, Svetlana has clearly stated that this is slightly different, or I will not say different, it's specialized, you know, because different is not a nice word in this regard. So specialized. So this is the question, you know. I don't know if anyone has more comments, because otherwise with this information we cannot make a decision, I'm afraid. Like I said, regarding the project, this is not an issue, okay, because activities from that they are in the topics should be, if anyone express interest to do it, obviously they will be, and obviously depending on the budget, they will be funded, so there is not an issue, okay. So it's a matter of maybe giving it a little bit more time to see how the interest, you know, for the rest of a EURAXESS network shows towards this topic. I don't know if you are okay with this solution. If you, in general, I mean.
I think there's a silent agreement. No hands,
Okay.
no comments. No, but I mean that's. I think you made a lot of progress with this clustering exercise, and I was even expecting there would be more topics that would be like up for discussion. This is not something that is. It's very difficult to get it perfect from the beginning. So I think through the project you will, you know, doesn't mean that you should reopen all discussions. I think you made a lot of but you know, there's always going to be some fine tuning because eventually it needs to work in daily life. It needs to make sense, right? And so this is going to be the test, and then things can, and I'm pretty sure will be shifted a bit left and right. Nuances will be added, but I think already quite how this looks, it's very, very, very advanced.
Yeah, thanks, Slavin. Just to recall on what you just said, this is the starting point, and I'm pretty sure we will be agile and adaptable, all of us, to realize when we start putting things in practice that maybe we really need to shift some things. But it's like Slavin said, and it's not to reopen always very fundamental conversations that I think we have had during the last months. But I'm pretty sure details will change, topics will come, maybe topics will drop, who knows? And we need to be open to that. But this is just the framework to start working due to the upcoming project. So thanks a lot to all of you. Thanks a lot, Slavin and Vera, for providing this space. I think well, now everything is ready to move forward. I don't know, Xavi, if you want to make any something that I forgot.
No. I mean everything very clear, and well, and many thanks for all the rest of the BHOs contributing actively with their point of view, because again, the project is here to support the initiative, so it's a collective effort.
Okay, well, I think this is a good moment to conclude today's meetings. We're a bit over time, so thank you very much for staying a bit longer. And thank you, Elisa, for leading the discussions today as well. Very, very well done, and a lot of interesting input, and very, very nice to see all the active participation in this meeting as well. So we conclude here, and for the next meeting, that will be on February the 12th. So again, second Thursday of the month. And the topic of that meeting will then, as mentioned already, be the extranet. And in preparation for those discussions, we'll also be sending out a bit of a survey asking some preparatory questions as well to make sure that we can have as practical and fruitful discussions as possible during the meeting. If needed, and if you feel like there is need for a bit more time on project discussions, we can also assess whether it's possible to include a bit more time for that as well. So you can you can let us know as well if that's something that you would wish in the next meeting.
Well, just a reminder that we set the 27th of January as the limit to send the expressions of interest. So yeah, probably the 12th of February might be a nice occasion to maybe reflect on everything that we have received.
Okay, well noted. Well noted. Then let's ensure that we do have some time also for continuing discussions on this. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good. Thanks again for the participation, and we will stay in touch and of course send you any needed updates also before the next meeting. So have a very good rest of the week, and we will see you soon.
See you.
See you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.